In a busy city, on a corner near a school building, there lived a young boy named Dev. Dev was about 10 years old, but his eyes held the weariness of someone much older. He had been living on the streets since he was 5 years old. Dev had no family. His parents had been poor migrant workers who had died in an accident when Dev was very young. He had no relatives to care for him. With nowhere to go and no one to help him, Dev had learned to survive on the streets of the city. Dev's life was a constant struggle. He slept under bridges or in abandoned buildings. He ate whatever he could find, leftover food from restaurants, bread given by kind people, sometimes nothing at all. He was often hungry, always dirty, and frequently sick. During the day, Dev would wander through the city streets. Sometimes he would beg for money. Sometimes he would help people carry things in exchange for a few rupees. Sometimes he would simply sit in quiet corners, trying to stay invisible. But Dev had discovered one place that made him feel different, the government school near where he often slept. The school building had large windows, and Dev would position himself outside these windows during school hours. Through the glass, he could see inside the classroom. He could see the teacher, a kind-looking woman named Mrs. Sharma, standing in front of the classroom, teaching the children. He could see the students sitting at desks, reading books, writing on boards, raising their hands to answer questions. Dev would stand outside that window for hours, watching the teacher and the students. He wished more than anything that he could be inside that classroom. He wished that he could learn to read and write. He wished that he could have a teacher like Mrs. Sharma. He wished that he could be a student instead of a street child. But Dev knew that such wishes were impossible. He had no money for school fees. He had no decent clothes. He had no birth certificate or documents. He had no address. The school would never accept a dirty street child like him. So Dev contented himself with watching through the window. It was his only connection to the world of education and learning that seemed so far away. Mrs. Sharma was a dedicated teacher who cared deeply about her students. She believed that education was the most important gift she could give them. She spent her evenings preparing lessons and her mornings greeting each student with warmth and encouragement. One afternoon, while Mrs. Sharma was teaching, she noticed something unusual. There was a face pressed against the window of her classroom, a young boy, watching intently. She recognized the intensity in his eyes, the way he was studying everything happening in the classroom. Mrs. Sharma continued her lesson, but she found her attention drawn to the boy at the window. She noticed that he watched every movement she made, every word she wrote on the board. She noticed that his lips sometimes moved, as if he were trying to follow along with what she was teaching. When the class ended and the students left for the day, Mrs. Sharma decided to investigate. She went to the window and looked out, but the boy was gone. The next day, during class, the boy appeared at the window again. This time, Mrs. Sharma paid close attention. She saw that he was following along with her lesson about mathematics. She wrote a simple arithmetic problem on the board. Through the window, she could see the boy counting on his fingers, trying to solve the problem. When he got the answer wrong, she saw disappointment cross his face. When he got an answer right, his face brightened with joy. Mrs. Sharma realized that this boy outside the window was teaching himself through the classroom window. He was learning by watching. That day, Mrs. Sharma made a decision. During lunch, she went outside and found the boy sitting under a tree near the school building. She approached him gently so as not to frighten him. "Hello," she said kindly. "I am Mrs. Sharma, the teacher in that classroom. I have noticed you watching through the window. What is your name?" Dev was startled and frightened. He had never expected the teacher to notice him. He was afraid that she would scold him or tell him to go away. "My name is Dev," he said quietly, his voice barely audible. "Dev, how old are you?" Mrs. Sharma asked. I am 10 years old, Dev replied. Do you go to school, Dev? Mrs. Sharma asked gently. Dev shook his head. No. I cannot go to school. I live on the street. I have no money for school fees. I have no family. Mrs. Sharma felt her heart break for this boy. She saw in his eyes a hunger for knowledge and a desire to learn that many of her regular students did not possess. Would you like to come into the classroom? Mrs. Sharma asked. Would you like to sit with the other students and learn? Dev's eyes widened in disbelief. Really? You would let me come inside? Yes, Mrs. Sharma said. Starting tomorrow, you will come to my class and sit with the other students. We will find a way to make this work. The next morning, Dev arrived at school early. He was nervous and excited. Mrs. Sharma had brought him clean clothes and had given him a place to wash up. She had also given him breakfast, bread and milk, which Dev ate gratefully. When Dev entered the classroom for the first time, he felt like he was entering a palace. The desks, the books, the board covered with writing, the maps on the walls, everything seemed magical to him. Mrs. Sharma seated Dev at a desk next to a kind girl named Anjali. She gave Dev a notebook and a pencil, his very first possessions that were truly his own. Dev, Mrs. Sharma said gently, today you are officially a student in this classroom. You belong here just as much as any other student. I want you to know that you are welcome here, and I believe in you. Dev felt tears come to his eyes. He had never felt so welcomed, so valued, so seen before. As the lesson began, Dev discovered that learning was even more wonderful than he had imagined. Mrs. Sharma explained concepts clearly. She was patient when students did not understand. She encouraged questions. She made learning feel like an adventure. Anjali, the girl sitting next to Dev, was kind to him. She helped him with words he did not understand. She shared her textbook so he could see the pages. She did not judge him for his ragged appearance or his lack of knowledge. By the end of the first day, Dev had learned to write his own name. It was a small thing, but it filled him with pride and joy. He had never written anything before. Now his name was written in his own notebook, in his own handwriting. Dev held that notebook like it was the most precious thing in the world. In the weeks and months that followed, Dev's life began to change. Mrs. Sharma arranged for Dev to receive a small meal at school every day. She found clothes for him. She helped him get basic hygiene supplies. More importantly, Mrs. Sharma gave Dev something he had never had before, a safe place to be, a place where he belonged, a place where he was valued and respected. Dev threw himself into his studies with a passion that amazed everyone. He was hungry for knowledge in a way that most children were not. Every lesson felt like a gift. Every new word he learned felt like a victory. Dev learned to read. At first, he could only read simple words. But gradually, his reading improved. Within months, he could read children's books. Within a year, he could read more complex texts. Dev learned mathematics. He discovered that numbers made sense to him. He had a natural ability for calculation. Mrs. Sharma encouraged this talent and gave him advanced math problems to solve. Dev learned history and science and geography. Each subject opened new worlds to him. He learned about countries he had never heard of. He learned about how the human body worked. He learned about the stars and planets. But most importantly, Dev learned that he was intelligent. He learned that his circumstances did not determine his worth. He learned that a street child could become a scholar. Other teachers in the school began to notice Dev. They saw a student who was eager to learn, who asked thoughtful questions, who worked harder than almost anyone else. They began to give Dev extra help and extra attention. The other students in the class accepted Dev. Anjali remained his closest friend, but other students began to treat him as one of them. They shared their lunch with him on days when the school meal was not enough. They included him in their games and activities. By the end of his first year in the classroom, Dev had transformed. He was cleaner, healthier, stronger. His eyes held hope instead of despair. His face showed the joy of a child who felt safe and loved. While Dev was thriving at school, he still faced the reality of living on the streets. He slept in abandoned buildings or under bridges. He was often cold, hungry, and unsafe. Mrs. Sharma became aware of this situation and decided to do something about it. She spoke with the school administration about Dev's circumstances. She explained that Dev was an exceptional student who deserved support. The school principal was moved by Dev's story. He helped Mrs. Sharma arrange for Dev to live in a small room in the school's caretaker's house. In exchange, Dev would help with small tasks around the school, sweeping, watering plants, helping to clean the classrooms. For the first time in his life, Dev had a real bed to sleep in. He had a safe place where he was protected from the dangers of the street. He had stability and security. Dev was deeply grateful. He worked diligently at his assigned tasks, treating them not as burdens but as opportunities to contribute to the school that had saved his life. Mrs. Sharma also helped Dev get proper documentation, a birth certificate, school records, official enrollment papers. She contacted government agencies and explained his situation. With persistence and documentation of his studies, she helped Dev become officially recognized as a student with proper legal status. This transformation took time and effort, but Mrs. Sharma was committed to helping Dev build a real future. As Dev progressed through school, his academic success became remarkable. By the time he reached secondary school, he was one of the top students in his class. His teachers recognized his exceptional intelligence and dedication. Dev excelled in all subjects, but he had a particular passion for science and mathematics. He won academic competitions. He received scholarships for advanced studies. He was recognized by the school administration as one of the most promising students ever to attend the school. But more important than his academic achievements was Dev's character. He remained humble and grateful. He was kind to other students who struggled academically, offering to help them with their studies. He never forgot what it felt like to be an outsider, so he was always inclusive and compassionate towards students who were struggling or who came from difficult circumstances. Dev also became a mentor to other street children. He would sometimes visit the streets where he had once lived and speak to children living there. He would tell them his story, how he had been a street child watching through a school window, how a teacher had noticed him and changed his life, how education had saved him. "You can become anything you want to become," Dev would tell the street children. "Your circumstances do not determine your future. Your education determines your future. If you get the chance to go to school, take it. Work hard. Believe in yourself." I did, and my life has been completely transformed. Some of the street children Dev spoke to did get into school. Some of them became Dev's friends and fellow students. Dev had become a bridge between the world of privilege and the world of poverty, showing both worlds that transformation was possible. Throughout Dev's journey, Mrs. Sharma remained his constant guide and mentor. She did not just teach Dev academics, she taught him how to be a good person. She showed him that education was not just about acquiring knowledge, but about developing character and compassion. Mrs. Sharma encouraged Dev to think about his future. She helped him understand that his experience of poverty and his recovery through education gave him a unique perspective and a responsibility to help others. "Dev," Mrs. Sharma would say to him, "you have been given a precious gift, the gift of education and the opportunity to transform your life. With this gift comes responsibility. You have the power to help others who are in situations similar to the one you were in. That is your calling. Dev took these words to heart. He began to think about his future career not in terms of earning money or achieving status, but in terms of how he could use his education to serve others. By the time Dev reached the final year of secondary school, he had decided what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to become a teacher like Mrs. Sharma. He wanted to work in schools in poor neighborhoods. He wanted to help street children and children from disadvantaged backgrounds access education. "I want to change lives the way Mrs. Sharma changed mine," Dev told his teacher. "I want to be a teacher who notices the children on the outside looking in. I want to be someone who believes in them and helps them discover their potential." Mrs. Sharma's eyes filled with tears. She embraced Dev and said, "You are going to do wonderful things, Dev. I am so proud of you. The world needs more teachers like you will be, teachers who understand struggle, who know the value of education, who care deeply about their students." With Mrs. Sharma's guidance and support, Dev applied to teacher training colleges. His academic record was excellent, and his personal statement, explaining his journey from street child to scholar, was powerful and compelling. Dev was accepted to a prestigious teacher training college. With help from scholarships and support from Mrs. Sharma and others who believed in him, he was able to pursue his higher education. During his college years, Dev excelled in his studies. He was particularly passionate about learning about teaching methods for underprivileged children. He studied pedagogy and child psychology. He learned how to identify struggling students and help them succeed. Dev also volunteered at schools in poor neighborhoods during his college years. He tutored students who were falling behind. He mentored other young people who came from disadvantaged backgrounds. He saw himself in their faces and was determined to help them the way he had been helped. When Dev completed his teacher training, he was a qualified teacher. But more than that, he was a teacher with a deep understanding of struggle and a passionate commitment to helping others. Dev got his first job as a teacher in a school in a poor neighborhood. It was the kind of neighborhood where many children lived on the streets, where many families struggled to survive, where education was not a given but a privilege. Dev recognized many of his students in his own former self. He saw children watching school activities through windows, wanting to learn but feeling like they did not belong. He saw children who came to school hungry and tired. He saw children who felt invisible and worthless. And Dev reached out to each of them with the same compassion and belief that Mrs. Sharma had shown him. Years passed. Dev became known as an exceptional teacher. He was beloved by his students, respected by his colleagues, and recognized by his school administration as someone making a real difference. Dev's classroom became a haven for struggling students. He created an environment where every child felt valued and capable of learning. He reached out to children living on the streets, as Mrs. Sharma had reached out to him. He brought them into his classroom. He believed in them. He helped them discover their potential. Many of Dev's students went on to pursue higher education. Some of them became teachers themselves. Some became doctors, engineers, social workers, professionals dedicated to helping others. The impact of Dev's teaching rippled outward through the lives he touched. Dev also maintained a close relationship with Mrs. Sharma. She had retired from teaching, but she remained Dev's mentor and inspiration. Whenever Dev faced challenges, he would visit her and ask for her guidance. Whenever he celebrated successes with his students, he would share the news with her. One day, many years after Dev had first watched through the classroom window, Mrs. Sharma passed away peacefully. Dev was devastated by her loss. But he also recognized that Mrs. Sharma's legacy was living on through him. Every student he helped, every child he believed in, every young person he guided toward a better future, all of these were extensions of what Mrs. Sharma had done for him. At Mrs. Sharma's funeral, Dev gave a speech. He spoke about how she had noticed a street child watching through a window. He spoke about how she had taken a chance on him. He spoke about how her belief in him had changed the trajectory of his entire life. "Mrs. Sharma taught me that education is not just about academics," Dev said to the gathered crowd. "Education is about believing in people's potential. It is about seeing the person that someone can become, not just the circumstances they are currently in." Mrs. Sharma saw a street child watching through a window, and instead of seeing a beggar or a problem, she saw a student with potential. "That one act of belief changed my life and has allowed me to change the lives of hundreds of other children." Years later, when Dev was an established teacher and mentor, he was invited to speak at a teacher training college about his journey and his approach to teaching underprivileged children. Dev stood before hundreds of future teachers and told his story. He told them about being a street child. He told them about watching through the classroom window. He told them about Mrs. Sharma noticing him and believing in him. "Every classroom has students like I was," Dev told the teachers. "Students who do not feel like they belong. Students who think they are not smart enough or worthy enough to be in school. Your job is not just to teach academics. Your job is to notice these students. Your job is to believe in them. Your job is to help them discover their own potential." Dev also spoke about the practical challenges of teaching poor students. He shared strategies for working with students who were hungry, tired, traumatized by poverty. He talked about building trust and creating safe classrooms where all students felt valued. "The most important thing you can do as a teacher," Dev said, "is to believe in your students. Believe that they are capable of learning. Believe that their circumstances do not determine their destiny. Believe that education can transform their lives. When you truly believe in your students, they will believe in themselves. And when they believe in themselves, nothing is impossible." Dev's speech moved many of the future teachers. Several of them approached him afterward and said that his story had changed the way they thought about teaching. Some decided to dedicate their careers to working with disadvantaged children because of Dev's inspiration. Dev's journey from street child to accomplished teacher had become a beacon of hope and inspiration for countless others. The story of Dev teaches us several profound truths about education, potential, and human compassion. First, it teaches us that a single act of kindness and belief can transform a person's entire life. Mrs. Sharma noticed a boy watching through a window and offered him opportunity. That one act of compassion changed Dev's destiny and through Dev, has changed the lives of hundreds of other children. Second, it teaches us that circumstances do not determine destiny. Dev was born into poverty and was a street child, but his circumstances did not define his potential. With education and support, he transformed his life completely. Third, it teaches us about the power of education to break cycles of poverty. Dev did not just educate himself, he became an educator who helps others escape poverty. He is part of a chain of people dedicating their lives to helping the next generation succeed. Fourth, it teaches us about the importance of seeing potential in others. Mrs. Sharma saw Dev not as a street beggar but as a student with great potential. This perspective changed everything. We all have the power to see potential in others and to help them discover their own capabilities. Fifth, it teaches us that gratitude and paying forward are important. Dev did not just accept his transformation selfishly. He dedicated his life to helping other children the way he had been helped. He became a mentor to others because he understood the power of mentorship. Finally, it teaches us that every child deserves education, regardless of their circumstances. Dev's story reminds us that talent and intelligence are not limited to wealthy children. Brilliant minds are being born in poverty every day. Our responsibility is to ensure that these brilliant minds have access to education.